Okay, so let's bounce into the 80%, folks, which is where we look at not the easy wins, but the more long-term difficult stuff for PodsDAO and the sort of deeper foundation value stuff and things that we need to think about. So on the last segment, Eves was talking about this question of whether PodsDAO is open to non-specifically crypto pods. This has been a big debate ongoing within our DAO Telegram. People have varying different views. Rather than me give my view, because that's boring, let's go to Clina Menick and John, and then we'll drop back to Eves for his point of view. So let's go to John, then Clina Menick, just to balance it up. John, what do you think? Do you think we should just stick with crypto pods, or is there a wider opportunity here to bring in other pods that are in this space that are interested in crypto, but or not thinking about crypto yet, but could be thinking about crypto?
Well, it's PodsDAO, so that does kind of imply Web3 and crypto. Is crypto Web3 and vice versa? Is Web3 all crypto, or are there a lot of other things involved in Web3 that might not necessarily be crypto? And there's crypto seems to imply more speculation and financial application. Web3 seems to imply, decentralized ID, decentralized social media, decentralized this and that. So maybe you could find other innovative podcasts that are more focused on the innovation of certain of these Web3 sectors.
So I think just to clarify, I mean, unless I'm drastically wrong, whenever we say crypto, it's almost like a word that we use, but we mean Web3. So everything that you mentioned, everything that's blockchain related, so is already in. But I guess isn't AI now Web3 tech? Do we include pods that are AI? Is there other futuristic tech? Is there other non-tech related pods? I don't know. Pods out there that are focused on grassroots democracy, collective economy, individual sovereignty in other ways. Do we close the door on them when we're all trying in this world of Web3 to encourage those guys to think about blockchain? Why would we shut the door? What do you think? Clinic, let's go to you and then we'll bounce back to Eves.
I mean, I think it makes sense to focus on podcasts that are already either about some Web3 topic or already incorporate Web3 technology into their business model. Or if a podcast doesn't fit either of those two categories, but they're curious about it, then they can maybe join the network and we can essentially coach them into getting involved in this, or they can work with other podcasts that are and learn from everyone else is doing it. And I think that kind of also ties into mission alignment as well, because it shows that we, at least like to me, the emphasis around Web3 here is sort of around financial sovereignty. But like, we're not just a bunch of, rugged individualists. There's also this kind of collectivism here happening that PodsDAO is trying to foster. So like financially sovereign podcast teams that see value in working as a collective. But the Web3, I think, is what enables that kind of sovereignty, where they aren't as dependent on platforms. Granted, I think we're still pretty early in working towards a creator economy where you really don't have to depend on any platforms. Stuff like Lens and donating directly to podcasts like this on chain. I think as that increases, these podcasts can become a bit more financially autonomous. And I think that's like a substantial thing that I think this collective can work towards.
Yeah, definitely. Eves, what do you think?
I have a couple of things to say. So the first one is, okay. The Web3 one. I like what John said in essence, and this is just sort of maybe being picky, or maybe something to think about. Maybe there's some truth in it. I don't know. The term Web3 to me feels a bit like a marketing term. It feels like it's kind of snuck in from the VCs. Kind of like, you know how Google are like pro everything and pro human and pro diversity, and then but they're also like $1 billion surveillance capitalists. You know what I mean? Like it's surveillance capitalists. They steal all our data and make billions of dollars off it. But like, yeah, no, we love humans. Humans are great. So, and I'm not saying I'm not saying fundamentally that's not the point. The point was actually a really good one that I liked, and it made me think, John, about like, for example, like an ASIC podcast. Just as the first example came to me, like a Bitcoin 8. That's not necessarily crypto, but it's a bit, you know, where does it stop? Right, there's a bunch of hardware involved. It's not just like information like bits on the computer. It's not just code and stuff. Like there's also the infrastructure. There's like how are people running the nodes? What do we want to do? Like Ethereum validator podcasts like those guys. Like there's so many things.
I mean, why
And that
not?
all
That's all
go.
crypto related or crypto adjacent. Why would we not include those?
No, I agree. No, that's what I was. But also that was to Clinomenic's point about like it's also not just like the financial side. I mean that's another cool thing about crypto in general. And I've got to be honest, one why I say like why I think like being trying to push like a crypto message and crypto values is actually really beneficial because as Clinomenic said, it isn't just financial. The thing I've always liked is like the fact that we're doing governance experiments, right? And like you look at the traditional systems, and there's like these slow bureaucratic attempts to do certain things. But when you actually look at like the rapid pace and growth and acceleration, expansion of the governance space in crypto compared to, let's just say, your local national government, how radical a change it is and how much experimentation is actually done in terms, like the political side, the governance side of these DAOs and things, and just crypto in general, how different smart contracts interact, how how tokens are distributed, we're talking about monetary policy, rapid innovations. And so I think like why not go full steam ahead on that kind of stuff, because that's I don't know, we're actually trying to create new systems here. I think that's like extremely powerful thing about crypto and the powerful idea that we're playing with. And yeah, not saying there aren't other cool podcasts, other cool podcasters, and reasons to bring them in. But I don't know. At least personally, I think we have a potential, we have a chance, right, to really like change the world. And if you're interested in like politics or social change or systemic change, it seems almost obvious. Like crypto is the thing that's like has a chance of like creating some real change, as people say.
So Eves, let me ask you this, because just in the interest of the next question, which is kind of related. Let me ask you this: who would you not include in PodsDAO? Who is not included at the minute in PodsDAO?
I mean, I suppose I know what you mean, but to answer that, at the minute, no one, right? Like we just reached out. I mean, we sort of already started with like targeting, crypto podcasters. So that's kind of like already who has been brought in, not exactly like allowed or permitted or whatever. We just invite them. I would say, I mean, if they're anti-crypto, right, then that kind of defeats the whole thing that I was just saying before. So I guess I can't like that would, I guess, in when I do the math, it's like, well, I can't. That'd be a contradictory, kind of logic there if I was like, oh, I'm okay with like anti-crypto people, but I think one of the things pillars should be like pro-crypto. That wouldn't make any sense. So just based on that basis, I have to say that probably no anti-crypto people.
Just no anti-crypto, anti-blockchain, anti-web. These terms
Yeah, no, that we can't talk to. We
fully
can have yeah, it's not like that kind. Yeah, but definitely not like, oh, we're only crypto and we don't talk. Not like perfectly. In fact, I would love to have a critique of crypto on the podcast, on here, on my podcast, wherever. Like I think that's healthy. So definitely not like that kind of like censoring or like not permitting them to join in any way. That I think actually could be kind of cool if we had a crypto critic or a DAO critic on, that kind of thing as a guest. Like, see no reason to do that, but yeah, take part in but like, why take part in operation? At least not take part in the operations, because it's like they're antithetical to the goal, I suppose. Like, it's almost like you're purposely throwing a spanner in the a spanner in the works kind of thing. If that makes sense, maybe it's the wrong way to look at it. I don't know.
Okay, cool. All right. So it seems like we're a pretty broad church, along the lines of the general broad sort of mission, and open to everyone who's not massively toxically anti-crypto, but maybe getting a few in that are like sensibly critical.
Yeah, also toxically
and
pro
maybe-
crypto. So like, no fucking, what was I gonna say? What's the XRP? Like, people, you ever met those guys that are just always like they're always holding on. They're holding on to the lawsuit thing, and they're just like, they sound like a pastor when you talk to them, and they're like, no, trust me, XRP, man, it's the fucking JP Morgan got in. Honestly, dude, it's gonna be the thing. You don't understand. And it's like, there's a couple of those. There was Luna that had that kind of weird vibe. Obviously, Bitcoin's kind of got its own kind of thing where there's a bit of a religious thing going on.
So you're saying you wouldn't want the bearable bull to join the network?
Who's the bearable bull? I've never heard that one before.
Man.
The bearable or unbearable?
He's like a XRP maxi for years now. And he's got this distinct voice in his podcast. You know who I'm talking about, right, Spencer?
No, but I
No?
feel like
Okay.
how you're describing it, I'm sure I get it right away.
Yeah, I guess I'm giving him kind of a indirect shout out.
Bearable bear? What is it?
Bearable
If you're
bull.
listening.
Bearable
Not
bull.
included.
Okay.
Yeah, no publicity is bad publicity, right?
But I have
but
to. In my early days, I listened to him, and I have to admit, I've learned a lot about cryptography and early type of stuff through him in some of his earlier episodes.
Dude, that's the thing. There's good XRP people, I'm sure, but there's certain people. Like, I've got friends who don't even know anything about crypto, and they know a guy. They know a guy that's one of these crypto. That's the only thing they know about crypto. Like,
Yeah.
I remember I literally spoke to a friend, and he was like, "You ever heard of this XRP?" And I was like, "No, bro. Where have you heard this?" And he was like, "Well, I met this guy, and he like wouldn't stop talking about it." And I was like, "Dude, it's one of those XRP as if you fucking met
XRP
one of those."
Army, man.
Yeah.
And the
That's
Chain Link
exactly-
Marines,
So I guess like maybe no. Look, if you're really into something, it's like hard to determine whether you're like a shill or like it's it's a fine line. But I don't know. I guess I would think sorry, go on.
So yeah, the question might just be maybe when it comes to specific projects, and financial projects specifically, like, are they just set up to talk about number go up, or is there a use case there that could be legit? And are they even if there is that, are they just turning the finger up at all of everything else that's Web3? Are they more open-minded? They're respectful, civil, even if they are maybe in their corner going, I'm not too sure about Web3, but I am I'm massively for Bitcoin or whatever. They're at least maybe respectful.
Yeah.
They're not going to disturb the cohesion of everyone. Do you know what I mean? Maybe and they're a cool character. They fit in. Maybe there's a space in PodsDAO for people like that, Anyway, well, let's move on to the next topic, next question. So let's cue some more music.